YouTube fam, what it do? So I learned how to fight in 17 months. And I'm going to tell you all exactly what I did. So this can help anybody that may be interested in fighting in the future. So my sport of choice or my martial art of choice was boxing. I've always been a huge fan of boxing, and I always wanted to get in the ring and compete to know what that actually felt like. And I also wanted to learn self-defense just in case I need to defend myself because the world is crazy nowadays. So the age I started boxing, I had just turned 33 years old. It was in December of 2021. So I went to the gym. It's actually the gym where I am a strength and conditioning coach at now. And I told the owner of the gym, hey, I'm looking to train for amateur boxing and I want to fight in at least one amateur boxing match. That was my goal. So he put me with the coach. Shout out to Coach Gary. And we got right to work. So right from the jump, you want to identify what your goal is when it comes to fighting. Do you just want to train? There's nothing wrong with that. Do you just want to get in better shape? Or do you want to fight? Because that is going to change the trajectory of your training, and your coach may, be able to implement some things that can help speed up your process. So first and foremost, I had to be intentional with what my goal was. And I knew, hey, I'm not afraid of contact. I want to get in there and go to war. Now, it takes time. So, yeah, 17 months is very fast to have your first amateur boxing fight. But if you lock in on your training and stay completely dedicated to the sport, then anybody can do this, but you have to stay locked in. So that means you have to get sleep. You have to work out outside of your training with your coach. You have to have the proper nutrition, because all of that is going to play a role, especially as you get older. Like 33, starting boxing at 33, that's not normally what people do, but I showed that it can be done, and I'm sure there are plenty of other people that do it as well. Now, as far as the training goes, I was training with my coach starting off 2 times a week. Then we increased it up to 3 times a week. Now, we didn't do any type of sparring, but after about 4 or 5 months of training, that's when I started getting some sparring in. Nothing too hard or anything, just getting some touching in, some light sparring with more experienced people. So that definitely helps, as long as you're not in there with a complete a-hole. More experienced guys are going to help teach you things in sparring that's going to help you to make you better. They're not in there to kill you or hurt you, because it's not an ego thing. Now, if there are people that are trying to hurt you that have experience, then don't spar with them. And if your coach puts you in the ring with them, you probably should find a new coach, to be honest. Your coach should always have your best interests at heart when it comes to fighting. So started getting the sparring in, and then after a couple months of some light sparring, we started to ramp the sparring up. So I started having one hard session per week, and then I would have another light sparring session. So at this time I was training with my coach 3 times per week. Outside of my training with my coach, those other days I would do my running. I would have my own strength program that I was putting myself through. Although I did stop training strength for a while because I was dealing with some elbow pain that I had got from sparring. And I was at a certain point in time where I couldn't lift any weights without any pain, and just my body just felt honestly like very broken down and fatigued a couple of times, just because I was like really pushing myself. So boxing needed to be my primary focus. So strength training was not like a top priority for me, even though I implemented it. I knew I had a short window to be able to get as good as I can in boxing before, I hit a certain age, and it would not be good for me to get in the ring. So I had to prioritize my boxing training. So like I said, outside of those days when I did not train with my coach, I still got my running in, strength training when I could, but mainly it was boxing, like shadow boxing, working on technique, working on form, getting in sprints to change in a different type of conditioning. And I was training 6 days overall per week, with Sunday being my rest day. Now, as things start to ramp up, after 10 months, I had my first exhibition. It's not a USA boxing fight, but I did have an exhibition fight in which I won by decision. Now, as I led into that, I was training 7 days a week, because I'm like, all right, first fight, after 10 months, you got to get in as much training as possible. So after that fight, I kept my weight down because I knew I wanted to get in there for a USA boxing fight. I just did not know when. So around February of 2023, my coach told me about an event that was happening in April and in May. So initially my goal was to fight in April. Unfortunately, I dealt with death in the family. I lost 2 grandmothers. I had lost one in January. So shortly after that is when my coach had told me about the fights in April and May. But I was laser focused, like, okay, I'll fight in April. Well, shortly after I found out about the fights in April and May, I lost another grandmother. Then I lost my dog in April. So needless to say, it was a very rough year. So I could not fight in April because I was actually away that weekend. I was away in Philadelphia at Warden judging fights. So I couldn't fight in April. So despite all the deaths, a sport like boxing, you still have to be completely locked in. And it actually helped me to get through the deaths in my family, because I was focused and locked in on the goal, and it kept me disciplined, to be honest. And then May comes around. So all leading up to May, even though I'm flying back to St. Louis for funerals, losing a dog, even during this time, I'm still having to train. So when I'm away from my coach, I'm running, getting that road work in, shadow boxing, then doing strength training because my parents have a gym at home. So your life has to revolve around fighting. There cannot be any external factors if you are really trying to pursue this goal, especially at this point. I was 34 years old. I turned 34 last December. I'll actually be 35 soon. So as you get older, your body doesn't recover like it used to. So from all of 2023 leading up to my fight in May, I was training either 6 or 7 days per week. Now, it takes a lot. A lot of people say, hey, I box, I go to the boxing gym. But saying you're a boxer that just goes to the gym and actually saying you're a boxer that's willing to get in the ring and fight, they're 2 different things. 2 different things. It's a completely different ball game in that ring, and you do not want to leave anything left in your training. You want to maximize your training to make sure you're ready for whatever is coming at you in that ring. So this is how I learned how to fight in 17 months. If you all have questions for specifics, specific drills I did, specific techniques, even questions about sparring, let me know below. I'll be happy to share whatever you all would like me to share. But this is just more so to tell people it is possible, but you have to train hard. Don't just look at what you see on TV, what's going on in sports now, and think, hey, I can hop in a ring, because there is a chance that people can get embarrassed in there. And we're in the age of social media. You do not want to be a viral clip like my man right here. All right, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Catch you on the next one. Peace.